You just paid $3 for a woman you haven't even seen? Laughter exploded like gunfire in the town square as the crowd leaned in, wide-eyed, mouths twisted with amusement and disgust. The woman stood center stage, hands bound in front of her, a rough burlap sack covering her face. Her frame was slight, her posture too straight to be broken, too still to be resigned. But the sign beside her said nothing of who she was. Only one thing. For sale. The lumberjack didn't blink. He was tall, broad, sunburnt from the pines. Quiet. He held out 3 silver coins, the only sound a clean clink as they landed in the auction tray. 3, he said. The crowd scoffed. 3? For that? Someone shouted. You ain't buying a wife, son. You're buying a curse. He ignored them, walked forward, slow and steady. He undid the rope from her wrists himself. No force, no fear. Just a nod and then a turn toward the dirt path out of town. She followed him barefoot, still masked, still silent. Behind them, men shook their heads. Waste of coin, one muttered. Probably can't speak. Probably hiding something. He didn't care. Beyond the edge of town, where the forest swallowed up judgment and noise, they stopped beneath a tall sycamore. He handed her a flask of water. She drank. Her hands trembled, but she didn't spill a drop. Then her fingers rose slowly toward the sack on her head, but paused. You don't owe me anything, he said gently. Not your face, not your story. Not yet. At his cabin, tucked into the trees like it had grown there itself, he gave her a room. He laid out a blanket, a fire, and silence. Every morning he left fresh bread on her windowsill. Every night the plate came back empty. She still said nothing, until one day she left something behind, a tiny wood carving of a fox, perfectly detailed, fiercely still. That was the first time he smiled. Weeks passed like seasons, quietly but certain. Then one dawn, as frost kissed the grass, she stood by the fire, sack still on, and whispered, "Why me?" He turned slowly from his chopping block. "Because you never lowered your head." Her fingers went to the sack again. This time she didn't stop. The cloth fell to the floor. One side of her face was fire-kissed, burn scars twisting down from her temple, her left eye pale and clouded. But the other side, untouched, was alive with quiet fury and dignity. He didn't flinch, didn't ask, just listened. She told him the truth that night. Once the daughter of a respected judge, her home had been overrun during a violent power struggle. Her father executed, she was taken, passed, branded. When she resisted, they burned her face to silence her pride. The sack was their invention, a mask of shame. And eventually her silence became survival. He didn't speak when she finished. He only reached across the table and said, "You're not what they did to you. You're who you chose to stay alive for." From that night forward, she walked with her face uncovered. She learned to split logs beside him, plant herbs near the cabin, and carve animals from fallen wood. Her silence gave way to humming, then soft songs. She left her carvings on neighbors' porches, a hawk for the widow, a badger for the drunk. People began to speak of her not as the strange sack woman, but the one who made magic with her hands. Then one afternoon, as she bought apples from the market, a voice from the past struck her still. "Well, I'll be," a grinning man said. "Didn't expect you to crawl this far north." Her blood ran cold. The lumberjack stepped in. Calm, solid. "She's not yours." The man laughed. "She was bought once before, wasn't she? What makes you think 3 coins can undo all that?" That night they came back, 3 riders, knives, torches, ready to take back what they thought they owned. But they didn't count on the town standing between them and the cabin. The blacksmith, the baker, the preacher. The same ones who once mocked her now formed a wall. "You'll leave alone," the sheriff said, rifle ready, "or not at all." The riders fled. Later by the fire, her fingers tracing the rim of her mug, she asked softly, "Why did you really do it?" The lumberjack looked at her. Not the scar, not the past, just her, and said, "Because even covered in a sack, you stood taller than anyone else on that stage." She smiled, not with lips, but with her whole face. That night they danced in the clearing behind the cabin, no music, just the wind. Just her laughter, free and full and whole. Before the story ends, let us know in the comments what part of the world you're watching this from. So true value isn't measured in beauty or silence. It's in the strength to survive, the courage to stand tall after being shattered, and the grace to trust again. Sometimes the world needs one person willing to see past the mask and pay more than anyone else dared. If this story touched you, show some love, like, subscribe, and leave a heart in the comments.